The fall of Rome, the discovery of the New World, the first man on the moon. But there's one event, a cataclysm, that shook the very foundations of the medieval world that often gets overlooked. I'm talking about the fall of Baghdad in 1258. This wasn't just a city falling. It was an entire golden age being extinguished in a blaze of fire and fury. Imagine a city that was the New York, London, and Paris of its time, all rolled into one. For 5 centuries, Baghdad was the heart of the Islamic world, the capital of the Abbasid Caliphate. It was a bustling metropolis, home to nearly 1 million people. Its streets were paved. It had a sewer system, hospitals with different wards for different illnesses, things that wouldn't be seen in Europe for hundreds of years. This was the city of the House of Wisdom, the Beit al-Hikmah. It was the world's largest library and intellectual hub, where scholars from all corners of the known world, regardless of their faith or background, gathered to translate and study the works of the ancient Greeks, Persians, and Indians. They weren't just preserving knowledge, they were building on it. Algebra, trigonometry, optics, medicine, astronomy, the foundations of modern science were being laid right here in Baghdad. Think of the number 0, the decimal system, the very algorithms that power the device you're watching this on. Many of these concepts were refined and popularized here. Baghdad was a beacon of light, a city of learning and innovation, while much of Europe was still navigating the so-called Dark Ages. But on the horizon, a storm was gathering. A storm unlike anything the world had ever seen. From the steppes of Mongolia, a new power was rising. Led by the descendants of Genghis Khan, his grandson Hulagu Khan was tasked with expanding the Mongol Empire westward. And in his path stood the jewel of the Islamic world, Baghdad. By the mid-13th century, the Abbasid Caliphate was a shadow of its former self. While the Caliph Al-Musta'sim was still the spiritual head of Sunni Islam, his political power was limited. The Caliphate was fractured, weakened by internal strife and corruption. Al-Musta'sim himself was more interested in poetry and leisure than in statecraft or military strategy. He vastly underestimated the Mongol threat. When Hulagu Khan sent envoys demanding submission, the Caliph responded with arrogance and threats, not realizing he was dealing with the most disciplined and ruthless military machine on the planet. Hulug's response was swift and brutal. He assembled a massive army, perhaps as many as 150,000 strong, one of the largest Mongol armies ever mustered. It was a multinational force of Mongols, Georgians, Armenians, and even Chinese siege engineers, who brought with them advanced catapults and gunpowder weapons. They marched across Persia, leaving a trail of destruction. And in January of 1258, they arrived at the gates of Baghdad. The city's defenses were woefully inadequate. The Caliph had failed to rally his troops or reinforce the city walls, believing the city's prestige and the wrath of God would protect him. He was tragically mistaken. The Mongol siege began on January 29th. For 2 weeks, the city was bombarded relentlessly. The Chinese engineers built a palisade and a ditch around the city, trapping everyone inside. Fulag's catapults pounded the walls day and night. By February 10th, the city's defenses were breached, and Baghdad surrendered. What followed was an orgy of destruction that beggars belief. Hulagu, following Mongol tradition, had promised the Caliph he would be spared if he surrendered. The Caliph and his sons came out of the city, only to be forced to watch the slaughter of their people. For a week, the Mongols pillaged, burned, and killed. Historical accounts, though they vary, paint a horrifying picture. The number of dead ranges from a few 100,000 to over 1 million. The city became a charnel house. The Mongols showed no mercy. They destroyed mosques, palaces, hospitals, and homes. But their most devastating act was the destruction of the House of Wisdom, the Grand Library, containing countless priceless manuscripts on science, medicine, philosophy, and literature, was utterly annihilated. Scholars and scientists were killed. The books, the accumulated knowledge of centuries, were thrown into the Tigris River. It's said that the river ran black with the ink from the dissolving manuscripts for days, and later it ran red with the blood of the slaughtered citizens. The survivors said the bridge of boats was no longer needed. You could cross the river by walking on the floating mountain of books. The aftermath was catastrophic. The Caliph al-Mustasim was executed in a particularly cruel Mongol fashion. He was rolled up in a carpet and trampled to death by horses, as the Mongols believed it was taboo to spill royal blood upon the earth. With his death, the 500-year-old Abbasid Caliphate was gone forever. The fall of Baghdad was more than just a military conquest. It was a civilizational blow from which the Islamic world would take centuries to recover. The intricate canal and irrigation systems that had sustained Mesopotamia for thousands of years were destroyed, turning fertile farmland into desert and crippling the region's agriculture permanently. The intellectual center of the world was extinguished. The vibrant, cosmopolitan culture of Baghdad was wiped out. The city that had been a beacon of progress was reduced to ruins. Of course, Islamic civilization didn't end in 1258. New centers of power and learning eventually emerged in Cairo, Istanbul, and Isfahan. But the sheer scale of the destruction at Baghdad marked a definitive end to its golden age. It shifted the center of gravity in the Islamic world and had profound, long-lasting consequences for the trajectory of global history. Why does this story matter today? It's a powerful reminder of how fragile civilization can be. How quickly centers of learning, tolerance, and progress can be wiped out by intolerance and brute force. It shows us that what is built over centuries can be destroyed in a matter of days. The memory of Baghdad's fall is a sobering lesson from history, a ghost that whispers to us about the preciousness of knowledge and the terrible cost of conflict. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this story as fascinating and important as I do, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into history's most pivotal moments. Let me know in the comments what historical event you'd like to see covered next. See you in the next video.